Welcome to a special guest edition of the AEW Dynamite post show for the Holy Shhh Podcast. It's your boy ABE from DET, and all the way from New York, we got the one, the only bald bro in the building. What up, brother?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on tonight.
Appreciate you joining me, man. Not too many people on my show watch AEW. Usually it's a solo venture, but glad to have a guest on this week.
Oh no, yeah, man. Listen. I told you when I was on your show last time that I got you, but obviously, recent stuff I've had to gone through. I had to postpone some things, but ready to go, man. Let's do it every Wednesday.
Like we were saying off air a minute ago, man. Special shout out to your Mets. Hell of a season. My Tigers stumbled into the playoffs. We wasn't supposed to be there, but y'all was supposed to be there, and you should be in the World Series, man.
You know what? You know what was crazy? Both our teams are in the same category. Like, trust me, we weren't supposed to be here. This was supposed to be a punt year. We were supposed to just retool for next year. Our season was over in May. Everyone was like, "Yo, trade away all the assets and everything, and just get money off the books." And they said, "Nah, man. Let's call up Grimace, throw out the first pitch, and then bam, we off to the damn races."
Right,
Like,
100%, 100%.
it's crazy, man.
Crazy. A hell of a season next year. It's both of our teams' time, man. That's how we're going to put it like that, man.
Exactly.
Well, let's get into this AEW Dynamite for October 23rd, 2024. It starts off with Hangman comes to the ring and snatches the mic from Shivani to address Jay White and the Bang Bang Gang. But he goes on to brag about talking about the guns and how he laid out Colt. And then comes his brother to attack him. Hangman gets the advantage, though, lays out Colt, but then Jay White and Juice Robinson come down to even the score, chasing off Adam Hangman Page. Switchblade grabs the mic and lets Hangman know he isn't on his level, but he wants him 100%. So when his legs get together, it will be once again, seems like Jay White versus Adam Hangman Page. Are you for this feud continuing? You think it's got more life in it?
I think so because like you said, you got the little backstory of Hangman taking out Austin a few weeks ago, so you got that. You
Right.
got that little backstory, but if you notice when Hangman walked out to the ring, he was noticeably limping. So I think they're gonna drag this out to Full Gear, give him time to heal up a bit. But yeah, man, I'm all for this. You had a lot of you had a couple run-ins in the last match, so I think we'll get a good clean match at Full Gear, kind of like the deciding match in this feud, and then they could go their separate ways after that.
100%. The limp was clear as day. I like
Yeah.
Switchblade. Switchblade is looking good, man. The Bang Bang Gang looking strong. So this should be interesting one way or the other.
Hmm.
But next up, Shelton Benjamin defeats Sammy Guevara, one of the so-called pillars of AEW, before his huge match next week with Swerve Strickland. How is one of the pillars a tune-up match?
I mean, hey, it's in a way like hey, that's how it intended when the company started. Tony had his idea; those would be the four guys
Right.
that would take his company into the future. And I say maybe he was halfway right, three quarters right. I'm not saying that Sammy has like been a disappointment in a sense, but he's had his little bumps, the past couple of years, whether it was injury, the stuff with Andrade in the back, I mean, but that's a story for another day. I mean, I think Sammy is good for what he is. He's a good, mid card talent, like, I just think he has to better define whether, if he has to pick a lane, whether he's gonna go babyface route, heel route. Like, listen, he's a great talent. You could get a good match out of him. I think he's where he's at on the card is fine. But dude, listen, let's just talk about the spot in the match that I'm sure everyone's gonna be talking about. That
Yeah,
that
go
call that
ahead.
callback spot. Like, I think we all had a feeling that we were gonna get this spot, like, cause from damn, what year was it that Michaels hit that super kick on bench? Was like 05, 04,
Yeah, that was like 0504. Yep.
over like almost 20 years. And then you go back to AEW's first year when Matt Jackson like almost super kicked Sammy's head off, and like you got the perfect combination right there to make a spot 20 years in the making. And of course it had to be Shelton to put that super kick on Sammy. I think they they knocked that spot out of the park. But even in the beginning of the match, I don't even know what type of move it was, but he locked up Sammy like I thought it was gonna be like a regular pump handle slam.
Yeah.
He just picked him up and just said, "Yo, you're gonna land when you're gonna land."
People sleep on Shelton Benjamin, man. He was always an underrated superstar to me, even back in WWE. So I really hope AEW let him shine.
He's not just I don't not so much underrated. I think he's more underutilized.
That's the word. That's the
Yeah,
word.
like no, anybody who's been paying attention to Shelton Benjamin since he debuted back in 03, 04, against Triple H and all those guys, like you saw the talent from day one. I mean, but it was just he never not really until the Hurt Business came in, like during the pandemic, then you got to see a little bit more range from Shelton at that point. And like MVP and I think even Bobby Lashley is talking like it ended so kind of abruptly, and the fact that they didn't even want to bring it back. He's 100% right. Left a bad taste in his mouth. So we're here now. So I would say it's any day, any week where I'm sure Bobby's going to come in. I mean, it could be next week during the Swerve and Shelton match, or maybe they wait till Full Gear, but it's going to happen any day soon. And I'm real curious to see where they're going to go with this.
100% I am, man. A lot of stories being developed. This is the one thing that AEW gets criticized for heavily, but with this last few months, they've been telling stories, man. They've been giving us start points, continuing, and leading us to the end progression of a storyline, man. They've been doing a damn good job. So we'll see where the Hurt Business takes us. But next up, we got Kyle Fletcher comes out with Don Callis to address why he turned on Ospreay and basically says it all boils down to him not wanting to be in the shadow of Will anymore. So much that he takes a pair of clippers and cuts his hairstyle that resembles Ospreay clean off on live television, screams and tells the world, including Ospreay, I am nothing like you. Me personally, I love Kyle Fletcher. I think he's going to be a massive star one day. I liked where he's heading. I thought the haircut might have been a little, I don't know. But the segment was great. His talking is getting better. Him with Don Callis, you can't go wrong when Don Callis is your manager. But your thoughts on his explanation of why he turned on Ospreay?
Well, that's the thing. Like you said, like where AEW gets unfair criticism about like them not supposedly telling stories. I just think that that's the biggest bad faith argument that you ever hear any fans say. Like you're just saying that you either don't pay attention or you don't watch the show at all. And I never got the hate with Don Callis like being a manager. I think it all depends on who he's around. Him and Fletcher are perfect in a sense because you've seen the improvement like from a comfort wise, like on the mic talking, Kyle Fletcher's gotten way better, like being around Don Callis.
Yep.
And as far as like the explanation, sometimes the simplest explanation, the simplest route is the best route. You know, he didn't want to be in Osprey's shadow, and that's understandable in a sense because when you think Kyle Fletcher, you're gonna think of Osprey really pretty much in his right hand, and everything like that, from the look, the hair, and everything. So I can understand the whole haircut stuff like that. And listen, bold Kyle Fletcher, push bold Kyle Fletcher, man, all the
Bald
way.
Kyle
Like
Fletcher, man. Yes, welcome
exactly,
to
I
the
was
dark
like,
side.
exactly. Listen, you know what? Don't he trimmed it cool, but not get the damn blade. Get
Yep.
get get the shade. Boom, full zero blade. Like
Full
boom,
zero blade, man. Holla at
let
Moxley,
that.
whatever he used, man.
Exactly, man. Throw them in with the Fruit of the Loom crew, man. You can't call them the BCC. The all with the crispy white t-shirts. That's the Fruit of the Loom crew right
Fruit of
there.
the Loom crew, man. I was wondering, are they still going by BCC? Well, we gonna call them the Fruit of the Loom crew, man.
Exactly, man. Why not? It
100%.
fits. It fits.
Well, speaking of Don Callis, the next segment was kind of interesting because Ricochet is back with Renee, still looking for payback with Takeshna. But until then, he's calling out anyone and everyone who is willing to fight him this weekend on Collision. But then, speaking of managers, MVP shows up and says, I know we've had a tumultuous past in WWE, but we're on new grounds here. And if you're looking to do business, give me a call. I'm all for Ricochet joining this faction here, man. What about you?
Well, thinking about this, like go back to the old Hurt business. Obviously, their short one with Cedric, Alexander still in WWE. You kind of need that one more, and you kind of look at a Ricochet and a Cedric Alexander in the sense that great in ring technicians, both can do whatever in the ring, but not exactly maybe the strongest personalities on the mic or whatever. So they were in a perfect spot. You're surrounded by an MVP, Lashley, who are at the forefront, and then Ricochet or Cedric Alexander back then, they could do their thing in the ring, and shine like that. So in a sense, that chemistry, that potential pairing, I think that could work out for Ricochet. And I like the little point that MVP was like, "Yo, nice suit." Like he already looks like he fits the part.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it would be a seamless fit. So I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind that for Ricochet. It would be a totally different direction than we've seen him, whether it was NXT, WWE, or even so far in AEW. Like put him in a faction. You're not diminishing him in the sense you're you're accentuating his strong points, but he's surrounded by people that will elevate him. Maybe get him more comfortable, like speaking and being a better, lead to better character development down the line.
100%. Shout out Gavin Talks Wrestling on TikTok. What up, brother? Thank you for tuning in. But also, Ricochet could benefit because online, when Samantha Irving just recently quit, he got a lot of heat saying this is all your fault. He needs to play off that, use that to his advantage, and become a full-fledged heel.
Bro, these like that. What was it? Well, it was Monday, right? Yo, these guys are fucking crazy, man. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, bro. And it was crazy that I feel bad for Ricochet in the sense like he shouldn't even have to. He had to come out and basically say, "Yo, she ain't coming to AEW, man. Like,
Right.
relax, chill." And then literally, it's funny, like, yo, just chill, sit back, and wait for things to unfold. We basically find out yesterday, like, yo, they didn't want Triple H and WWE. They didn't want her to do any of her singing and other stuff she wanted to do. They want to
Right.
give her
Right.
any time. So she's like, okay, when my contract's up, I'm done. And
Can't blame her for that, man.
what's wild is that like a lot of you don't understand that something like that could how do you say potentially give like future free agents like second thoughts or anyone outside the company looking like damn, like she's one of the best announcers in the world, and they would even like work with her for like give her a few weeks, give her a month. Like, dude, nothing's going on until War Games. Like, we'd be
Right.
like, yo, take off 7, 8 weeks, come back at Survivor Series, and then you know what, take another month off, come back at Royal Rumble. That's when. Don't get me wrong, it's good seeing her every week, but when you have her for those big PLE moments like a WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, that's when she's really gonna shine. Like, I mean, you don't need her every week for Raw. I mean, you could get someone else to fill in for those smaller shows here and there, but like the fact that they didn't even want to work with her, I feel like that's a bad look. Going forward. I mean, that's listen. There's another game in town right now. I mean, like it's kind of crazy. You look at a guy like MJF who's doing multiple movie roles, who's allowed to do multiple movie roles, but
Right.
still can be in his spot when he comes back. So you don't think potential free agents are gonna look at that like, oh, this guy could do X, Y, and Z, but he could still do A, B, and C when he comes
Yep.
back. That's something to look at down the line.
Yeah, WWE, they should think about this, man. They got to lower the restraints on their wrestlers. This is a freedom of community. Like, everybody's creating. Everybody has their own lane. You need to allow them to create that. It could fuel yours as well. Don't be selfish.
Hmm.
Yep, yep. But next up, Brian Cage and Lance Archer, aka Timu Drew, which people were calling him last week, all on social
Oh
media.
man!
But he jumped back into the
Wow.
braids, so he's got his look back now. But they defeat. They didn't even name who these guys were.
Yeah, I
I
didn't.
had
I
to
didn't. I didn't
rewind it.
hear
I
her
still
name.
didn't see it. So we're gonna call them the Barbarians because that's what
They,
they
they,
look
they,
like.
that's what they gave. Like it was like some barbarian commando Rambo type feel. Like it was something like that. But regardless of what the name was, it was your old school like tag squash match, like 2 3 minutes
Exactly,
in and
man.
out.
Quick in and out.
And listen, we wanted to focus on the tag team division. Boom, you got another team right there. So
Right
you
there.
know, I don't know what more you want. Like squeeze in a quick 5 minute squash match, pin, boom, on to the next one.
On to the next one. Shout out my guy Tony Hayes checking us out on YouTube. But next up, we got Chris Jericho finally defeats Mark Briscoe in a ladder match. The conglomerate got involved, the learning tree got involved, but it all ended with the assistance of Big Bill choke slamming Briscoe out of the ring, through the tables, and carrying. This took a lot of strength. A lot of you don't know how hard this was. He carried that man up the ladder
Yeah.
on his back. Jericho grabs the belt, and the Ocho is now the Nueve as he wins the Ring of Honor Heavyweight Championship, his 9th world title overall. Your thoughts on this, Barbara?
This win for Jericho means more than what's on the surface.
Okay.
We got to pay attention because here's the thing with the new media rights deal that Tony Khan AEW signed with Warner Brother. Ring of Honor was not a part of that deal.
Mm,
So I'm pretty sure he's still shopping around Ring of Honor to get it on some sort of network. And it's just like when AEW started 5 years ago. Remember, All Out pay-per-view, Chris Jericho, Hangman Adam Page for the inaugural World Heavyweight Championship. Like a lot of people disagree with it at the time, but it was the right decision to go with Jericho. He's the recognizable face. He has the years in the business on TV, on the biggest stages in the world. Boom for the start of Dynamite. So now wherever, if it does lead to a Ring of Honor TV deal, whether it's on True, on Tubi, it doesn't matter where it is on TV. It's already a win. That's just more money on top of the $555 million deal that he just inked earlier this month. So wherever Ring of Honor goes, that's a plus. So I can see why they put the belt on Chris Jericho. And listen, I understand Jericho gets, a lot of hate criticism. Some of it is justified, some I think is a little over the top. But listen, how old is Jericho? In his mid 50s? He just did a damn ladder war with Mark Briscoe. And it wasn't like he was like, you know, tiptoeing in. No, my man, first 2 minutes takes a double table bump outside. He
right.
takes multiple ladder bumps. Like, dude, he's going to war. So you know what? I mean, like I said, a lot of justifiable criticism with Chris Jericho, but I think, listen, he did his thing tonight. I mean, he put his body on the line at his age, all the miles he got. I mean, this dude could easily retire now. I mean, the fact that he's doing all these crazy spots at this point of his life and career, I mean, damn, if that's not for love of the game, I don't know what is.
Yeah, man. Shout out Tony Hayes. He says it makes me sad to see Mark Briscoe wrestle in AEW. I so want him to go to WWE. They will not
Oh,
give him brain damage. I think he wants brain damage. I think that's what he wants.
man,
Oh
listen,
man.
like, there are just certain wrestlers that fit certain brands, certain promotions. Like, I cannot I just feel like him and AEW Ring of Honor, that's just a perfect fit
Yeah.
for his style, his personality, and it's vice versa with guys on WWE, like guys like Randy Orton, for example. He fits the WWE mold. Like I could never see him coming to an AEW or any other promotion.
No.
That's him. Like there's just certain guys that fit certain brands, because there's certain styles that fit their persona and their wrestling skills. So I think Mark is where he needs to be for multitude of reasons.
Yeah, no diggity 513 says WWE work schedule is way too much. Yes, it is, man. That's what everybody says when they leave, man. They just the freedom of being able to do more, like you were just saying. With now Samantha, she can do her singing as well as whatever. Ricochet may say she's not coming
Remember,
to AEW, but we will see about that.
yeah, because remember, I don't know if you saw, like they're potentially shopping around another show, Shockwave.
Shockwave for Fox,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I mean, but listen, Samantha could do whatever the hell she wants. Like she could stay home with the kid, do her music or act, any acting, whatever. Like the balls in her court, and I think like. Listen, I understand it was Lillian Garcia's first night back in WWE this past Monday. It was a little shaky, a couple mistakes, but I'm not worried about that. But yeah, man, listen, it's gonna suck next month for War Games, for Survivor Series. Like her not announcing like Roman Reigns or the Bloodline. That's gonna lose a little lack. I don't know. It's gonna be a little lackluster in my opinion.
Tony Hayes says the Miz versus Mark Briscoe for the US Championship at WrestleMania will be great. That would be a downgrade because he just fought
Mhm.
for the world title tonight. So
And,
no.
and here's the thing: when you kind of look at like Mark Briscoe and And Jericho, like, well, first off, Jericho and the Miz, they kind of wrestled the same style
Yeah, yeah.
in a sense, but I think Jericho can do a little bit more on the physical side than Miz. And I'm sorry, I haven't been invested in the Miz for a while now, so I don't know. Like, I mean, respectively, like what they're doing with Miz and carrying Cross right now, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. I'm the same way, man. Same way here. But next up, Adam Cole comes out and addresses the crowd. Then the Undisputed Kingdom comes out, making sure they're all on the same page, which we see they are because Cole confirms it, and they call out Max as a unit. But of course, he isn't there. But he is on video saying if one of them can get 3 wins in a row, he will show up at Full Gear and face one of them. Side note, Kyle O'Reilly, he was their old Undisputed Era running mate. He was backstage watching this segment, so maybe he might have some role playing in this in the future. But this whole confusion of Adam Cole coming back as a babyface, now you're with the Undisputed Era, it's not clicking with me yet. Maybe because Max is making this movie and they're not really able to interact and tell the story a little bit better. And I'm pretty sure they'll catch us up to speed, but for some reason, it's just not feeling right with me.
I I feel like with this and a couple other things going on in AEW right now, it's more so like you look at the past month and a half in AEW, they're kind of suffering from a fatigue sense of all these big events that they've been doing.
Yeah.
Go back from the end of August, you had All In. A couple weeks later, you have All Out. A couple weeks later, you got Grand Slam. A few weeks later, you got Wrestle Dream. So I feel like, in a way, like if any anime fans are out there, you know what the past month and a half is? It's been like a filler arc in a sense. It's not the main story. There's some
Right.
action and some cool stuff, but not a lot on the main story, man. It's like, damn, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, like the 3 years training for the androids and Goku and Piccolo go get their driver's license type stuff. You know,
Right.
you look at it like that. So, but now I feel like the further we move along, now Wrestle Dream's over. The next pay per view is what, 6, 7 weeks, at Full Gear.
Yeah.
Now that's going to give him more time. You're seeing more story progression and multiple levels on different storylines going forward. So I think that will benefit. But I think this one, what it's really like, how do you say, lacking is just like you said, MJF not there. He's on site for another movie. I don't think it's the Happy Gilmore 2. I think it's another movie he's
Yeah, he's
doing.
shooting 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot
Yep.
what the other one
I
was.
forgot. Yeah.
But nah, I can't wait for Happy Gilmore 2, though.
Oh
That's
man,
gonna
that's
be a
gonna be
good one.
good, man. Especially with MJF in there, man.
Yeah, yeah. I think you got Bad Bunny and Travis Kelsey in that one too, if
Yep.
I heard.
Yep.
That's gonna be a good one. But
Another thing I
yeah.
kind of don't like about this is MJF isn't even a champion. Who is he to lay out these? You got to win 3 to get to me. Like, what the hell? That belittles Adam Cole a little bit to me in my eyes. Maybe it's just me though.
No, no, you're absolutely right. Like, I mean, and like you said, it's a complete role reversal in the sense, like, when MJF was the face and Cole was the heel, and now it's just a complete flip flop. But that's not the only instance where character like guys have literally just flipped roles out of nowhere. I mean, I'm sure we'll get to that in a little bit.
Oh yeah. But a low blow was taken in the comments. He says, "And Britt is bigger than Adam Cole in muscle." Wow. This man
Ah,
is hurting from the breakup, and now you're gonna insult his figure.
Jesus Christ, man, low blow, low blow.
Low blow. But next up, the House of Black defeats. I got these jobbers' names. I've researched this. Kevin Cole, Jaden Monroe, and Parate de la Morete. Yes, those 3 guys lost to the House of Black. And afterwards, Buddy Matthews grabs the mic and says, now that he is cleared, he wants Adam Cole next week. It just so happens as they're walking backstage, they cross paths and Adam Cole asks him why. Buddy responds that he just wants to prove that he's fragile. There's rumors, all the speculation that Adam Cole cannot hang, and it looks like Buddy Matthews is on a war path to prove that right. But I am looking
Jeez.
forward to that match.
Oh no, it'll be a good match, but in my head, I'm like, damn, man, he couldn't get his first match back in like what, almost a year plus. It's fucking Buddy. Like,
Right.
damn, you couldn't give him like freaking a Kip Sabian, a John Silver, or someone like that. Now you go up to damn fucking Buddy, man. Like shit.
Right. Buddy is
Uh,
a problem, man.
What, man? Like, goddamn. I mean, good luck. I mean, listen. Hopefully the ankle's fine, the foot is fine. Like, did you hear about the specifics of his foot injury,
No, I didn't.
of
Fill
his
me in.
surgery? So it was. I think it was just revealed today that for like he had to get a second surgery, a second like foot and ankle surgery. He had to get an extra amongst all the screws put in his ankle and his foot. He had to get a bone from a cadaver, like from a John Doe or another someone's foot bone inserted into his foot.
Wow.
I'm like, God damn, man! Like, it's crazy. Like, I was at that Grand Slam show last year
Yeah.
where he broke his foot and his ankle. Like, I had a perfect vantage point when I saw it happen. I was like, yo, I thought it was a work at first, but damn, now seeing what the hell he had to go through, I'm like, fuck, man, we might have the worst luck of any wrestler like the past few years. Like, no lie.
100%, man. I didn't know all that, man. But I'm glad he's
Yeah,
back.
like,
If that's the case, now I'm super glad he's back. And I hope he is 100% because Buddy is about to go
whoa, yeah, man, we about to find out real, real
real
quick.
quick. You thrown into
Shit.
the wolves right now.
Mm-hmm.
A shout out Buddy Ripley. I mean, Buddy Matthews. If you know, you know. But
Yeah.
next up, we get the brick house. Camille with Mercedes ringside. She defeats Queen Amanada, and afterwards, Statlander and Camille face off looking like two pure titans about to go to war. Mercedes tries to get a cheap shot, but it doesn't phase Statlander, but it does distract her for 1 second as Camille lays her out, and Mercedes Monet and Camille stand tall over Statlander, leading into their match coming soon. I really am looking forward to Camille versus Statlander. Their frames are kind of similar, kind of like if we're comparing it to WWE, kind of like Raquel and Rhea right now. You got these two giant, strong-bodied women going at it. I
Mhm.
want to see this match, man. What about you, man?
Oh yeah, like it's kind of crazy in a sense. Like you look at women's wrestling, not just in AEW but WWE. Like you look at a lot of women today, like a Statlander, like a Camille, like you just mentioned Rhea, Raquel. You could throw Bianca and Jade in there. I love that. We've moved into standard of women's wrestling. Like it's not just one specific body type, the small petite girls. No, you're allowing the big, strong, athletic women out there show that they can go and they could do whatever they want. I mean, damn, some that can go as well as some of the men out there. But I mean, yeah, that's gonna be a great match next week between those two. But I mean, like we talked about earlier with the kind of confusion with Adam Cole and MJF, like character wise, like kind of switch up. We got to bring Statlander into this
Mm-hmm.
in a sense because don't get me wrong, like you go from her rivalry with her and Willow, which was great for like 3 4
Amazing.
months. I mean,
Yep.
they had the amazing street fight at All Out. But then, after Grand Slam, she comes back and now she's a face and they split her and Stokely up. I'm like, dude, they were magic together. Like, you could have kept them together. She could have still been a face, but you could have like that's what they were in the beginning when they first started this year. But all right, putting that aside though, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's gonna be a great match between them and Camille, and then obviously this is gonna lead to Statlander and Mercedes more than likely at Full Gear, and I'll call this right now, like Stat and Mercedes should be the women's match of the year.
Mm,
Like because look at Statlander's tenure in AEW. You can make an argument she gave Britt Baker her best match. She gave Jade Cargill her best match.
definitely Jade. Yep.
I mean, her final match in AEW, like that was her best match.
Yep.
She's given so many women on that roster like their best match. Like her and Sheeta have been like the aces of that women's division in the 5 plus years. And what I'm gonna expect from that match, especially I'll talk about Mercedes in a sec. Like, I can understand where a lot of people's frustration is and like disappointment with Mercedes is. Like, but I look at it this way. I feel that Mercedes coming into AEW, I feel she was trying too hard to separate herself from what she was and what she did in WWE, like in a sense. I understand that maybe you coming in, with all this hype and all this adulation and these expectations, maybe you're trying to build yourself like a new reputation or a new like moveset. You want to try to. I think she was trying in the beginning too hard to separate herself from Sasha Banks. When she should look at it in the sense like you're not the only one who's come over from WWE to AEW. None of the others who defected and came over, they didn't change up their in-ring style. Maybe they changed their persona or their name, but that's it. Like, I'm gonna sound like a coach right now because I coached 15 plus years of football. So this is a little
Speaking.
pep talk from Mercedes. If you're watching this, I love you. I think you're great. You're just trying too fucking hard.
Yep.
Just be you, be Sasha Banks, be what made you great. Like if you notice her past couple matches, what has she done? She's ditched that finisher move. She doesn't do the moneymaker anymore.
Right.
She's this that. Put that away. You don't need that. She's
No.
had great matches with Emi Sakura, with Queen Aminata last week. And like I said, the match with her and Statlander is going to be the get right match.
Yeah.
That match with her and Statlander, that's going to catapult her into 2025. Anyone watches, you could clip this, you could save this. This will vault her into 2025. Guarantee you next year when that PWI women's list comes out next year. She wasn't on this year because she didn't wrestle enough matches.
Uh-huh.
Next, when that list comes out next year, she will be top 10, top 5 next year.
Yeah, I can see that for
Easy.
sure. I can see
Because
that for
I
sure.
feel like, you know, I could talk from this way. Like anyone knows I'm a Mets fan. I consider it like the same when Francisco Lindor was traded to the Mets back in 2021. Big contract, big expectations. Can he lead this, kind of like little brother franchise over the top? Kind of like, can you lift AEW over WWE? Can you lift the Mets over the Yankees? He was trying too hard. He changed too much in his game, the way he swung the bat, his mechanics, but now, year 3, year 4, he's an MVP candidate. He's back to doing what made him great. And that's my message to Mercedes. Keep it basic. Do what made you great in WWE. Just stick to that script.
Yeah.
Don't lose yourself. And like I said, mark this right now. That Statlander match is gonna vault her to great things next year.
Oh, we clipping that for sure. And
Absolutely.
speaking of greatness, in the TikTok comments, you have been getting multiple compliments on your glasses. Even here on YouTube, Tony Hayes says, I dig those glasses and the
Yes, sir.
shirt. And the shirt.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they
That's the
loving
GOAT
that on
right there,
TikTok,
man.
man.
Oh, you know what? And I got to show off the tat.
Oh, man, and the Bret the Hitman Hart tattoo. The excellence of execution
Yes,
is
sir.
being represented on the Holy Shhh Podcast today. That is
Bro.
cold, man.
9 hours in the chair. 9 hours in the chair is one session.
Yeah.
If anybody here in New York, anybody watching in New York City, my guy Bass, he's literally, that's the name, Bass. Like he's in the Bronx, man. He does great work. Like, hit me up on Instagram or TikTok. I could pass along his info. Like, dude's amazing, man. Like I sent him one picture, a couple pictures. You got to write the first stencil. I'm like, all right, let's go.
Right. Yeah, the comments is flooded now with the Bret Hart tattoo, man. You got to go in with that one.
Yeah,
I got to
man.
think I don't know who I would get on me. I don't know. I got to think about that. Maybe Ric Flair, the Nature Boy. I don't know.
That one won't age well, man.
Right. With everybody's secrets coming out the closets, I'm just waiting on Ric Flair's to hit the streets one day.
Jesus. What? Enough of his stuff ain't out there?
Yeah. Right. I got a request from somebody to show the tattoo one more time if you can.
Absolutely.
Bret the Hitman Hart on the arm of Bald Bro. One of New York's finest and Canadians' finest, linked together forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's cold, man. That's cold, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, speaking of old school wrestlers, let's talk a little bit about Christian Cage as the patriarch chased Kip Sabian to the ring. But before they can question him, Hook comes out storming to the ring due to him finding out it was Christian who took out Taz weeks ago. Hook lays out Wayne and goes to get Christian, but Sabian proves his worth, giving a low blow to Hook and allowing Christian Cage to hit him with his finisher, and the Patriarch and Kip Sabian lay out Hook, but they say to Hook, it's not what you think. So maybe they've got some explaining to do. Maybe it wasn't them. Hook was rushing to the finale, I guess you should say. But shout out just Christian Cage, man. Everything that he's doing, his work right now. I don't know where Kip Sabian is going to fall into this, but guess what? His career is going to be elevated, just like Wayne's was, just like Mother's was, just like Luchasaurus, or whatever you want to call it, Kill Switch. They've all been elevated through the grasp of
my
Christian
man's doing
Cage.
good. Oh, my man's doing good, by the way, man. Shoot, that sucks. Yeah,
Yeah,
double pneumonia in both lungs, man.
in
Like
both lungs, man. Shout out
that's
Luchasaurus, man.
crazy, man. But well, here's the thing. Like, I mean, Hook said that the guy is in the ring
He
that
did.
attacked. So, bro, I think it might be Kip.
Mm,
I think it's Kip to get the attention of Christian.
okay. I thought that
I
too.
think it's too obvious if it's Christian. Like, and you think about it in a sense, like Christian's only concern is trying to cash in the contract with the for the title. Like, so storyline sense or just common sense, like why would he go after Taz? But I think it's Kip to
Yeah.
get Christian's attention, and maybe to draw in Hook, like, yeah, it's another fatherless lost soul, who needs a little guidance. So
Right. Who's your
but
daddy? Those Who's Your Daddy shirts needs to drop for Christian Cage soon,
let
man.
me ask you, and hopefully others in the chat will ask this. Like, I know Christian's been in AEW maybe 3-4 years now. As far as him as a singles competitor, do you think that Christian's AEW run has already surpassed his TNA and WWE run as a single star?
It passed WWE for sure. TNA
Mm,
maybe not. It's close. It's close. Depending
not
on what
yet.
he does with this contract, we'll see
Yeah.
then.
What's crazy though, man? Like he's not slowing down. He has years. He has mileage left, man.
Right, right. Tony
Like it's
says not TNA. Yeah, it was hard for me. I can't put it over TNA
yeah,
because he did some
like
work in there, but it's
I'm.
close.
But man, I think was it? I think it was an interview with Chris Van Fleet, or it was some interview recently. Like that fucking Vince. He never. We were robbed of that damn feud with him and John Cena. I
Yeah.
think it was like during, was it 05, 06, one of those years where, like, bro, just imagine that. Like, imagine that would have been that TNA Christian when he first started. What was it, 06, 07 when he went to
Yep.
TNA? Can you imagine we would have got that version of Christian versus John Cena? But fucking Vince, he didn't see it. Like he said, he didn't like his face. He wanted to put a blue screen. Like, bro, man, that just tells you we were 20. He was 20 years. It was 20 years too late that he was kicked out of that company.
100%, man. But shout out Christian Cage, all the work he is doing. I'm not for sure if he's going to be able to cash that in on Moxley, but hopefully he gets some type of
Oh,
reward for his work.
there's no, yeah, absolutely no chance he'll cash out Mox. I think it's gonna be whoever the baby face that they have come in to beat Mox. It's gonna be an immediate cash in and
Ooh.
shocker, like just deflating the air out of the whole room. Like I can honestly see it like being Darby beating Mox for the belt. Oh, his
Ooh,
first
that would
title.
make Christian the
And
biggest
then
heel ever.
oh, you talk about nuclear levels of heat. Like,
Nuclear.
mm.
Or it
But
could
you
be
know what,
Orange
man?
Cassidy.
But man, yo, just real quick, like well, maybe after the last segment we'll talk about it
Yeah.
because it might segue to who I think should be the one to take the belt off of Mox.
I think I know where you're headed. Let's get
I know
there pretty
actually you
soon.
don't. Actually, I don't think you
You
do.
don't think? Okay, I'm gonna see. I'm
Or
gonna,
maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. We'll see.
let's see. But in the main event, we get Private Party and Daniel Garcia defeat the Bucks and Jack Perry and demand a rematch at the tag team titles. Of course, the Bucks refuse, But then they add Brother Zay adds a stipulation that says if they lose, they didn't say they quit, but they said the team would break up for good. Something that it looks like they're headed to anyway, just because Zay is tired of his partner continuously getting hurt, putting his career on hold. But your thoughts now that they are going to get the match? The Bucks agreed to that, so we're going to get Bucks Private Party once more for the tag titles.
Man, it's listen, it's simple and effective. Like, yeah, it's only been a couple weeks since the Wrestle Dream match, but you add that stipulation, classic stipulation, man.
Mhm.
They've tried, they tried, and this was really the only way from a logical standpoint. Because the Bucks, they could easily say like, "Yo, we beat you multiple times. We don't owe you anything. Could
Right.
just be back in the line or whatever." But they throw the challenge like that, like typical babyface, desperate baby faces at
Desperate.
that. Yeah, desperate. That's the only chance that they're gonna get. So
Yep.
I mean, dude, it could literally be a toss up next week. You could get that. You could get that finally. That finally they win the big one. Nice moment for one of your day one crew. You just wrapped up your 5 year anniversary. You can have that great feel good moment going forward, or Bucks just win again, and then you get the split, and then who knows? Maybe you get a Mark Quinn heel turn because, like, you saw the end of the show. He didn't like the fact that Zay put that stipulation in,
Not at all.
or it could be Quinn who it could be Zay who turns heel on Quinn. It could go either way, but I mean that's the thing, isn't it? The best where a match is set, a stipulation is set, and neither one of us can probably say definitively what's gonna happen.
I will say this though, whoever turns will end up being managed by that little weasel. His name slips me.
Stokely.
Stokely will definitely manage whoever turns on who. I can see that coming a mile away.
And listen, if that's the case, I mean, I'll call it right now. It should be Zay.
Yeah, yeah, it should be
Because
that.
you know what? Listen, there's a point where we've seen like tag teams over the years that there's always just that one that's like maybe the better talker, maybe
Yep.
better personality. Like, don't get me wrong, like Quinn's a great wrestler. He's good in the ring, but I feel, even back to their time with the Hardys, I feel Zay has stepped up, a
Yeah.
little bit more. I mean, unfortunately, I think it was more so because like Quinn was out for injuries for a long time. So, to the detriment of Mark Quinn, it gave Zay more reps, like a lot more one-on-one matches, even though there were squashes here and there. But he also got a lot of time with Matt and Jeff Hardy to work with them as well. So, like I said, if they lose, they split. Like, give me Zay and Stokely. I think that would be a good pairing.
Oh, we got a wild one in the comments. Imagine Road Warriors or Powers of Pain versus the Young Bucks. They would break character in the middle of the match and break their necks in real life. I think
Give me
so,
s-
man.
Yeah, man. I mean, what? And also look back at the time of those teams, man. They're just, well, not with the exception of Shawn Michaels and Mark Jr. The oh my god, well, the freaking names are just slipping me right now. But those were like the only tag team back then that were kind of like similar stature of the
Right,
Bucks.
right.
Back then, it was just different time and place. I mean,
Different time, man. Size mattered back then, man.
yeah, I mean, but it's not just wrestling in all sports in a sense.
Yeah,
Like a lot of football, basketball, baseball, they're more smaller, more athletic, and just overall better athletes today than they were back in the 80s and 90s.
100%. But even though that was the main event, it technically wasn't the end of the show. The whole night, AEW roster were in the parking lot looking for Mox and well, we just gonna call them the Haynes crew. Mox and the Haynes crew. They were looking for him all night. Car after car kept pulling up. It wasn't them, but at the end of the show, the truck pulls up and it's just Marina. And then Moxley and the crew were in the ring and they lay waste to Private Party. And it was just a massacre. Daniel Garcia, then Chuck Taylor comes out. They wrap the chair around his neck and give him a curb stomp from
Well,
hell.
even before that, Wheeler put the chair on his ankle first, but then
Yeah,
Carter's like, nah, fuck that.
fuck
Put
that.
that on his neck. Like, listen, you could recover like a few weeks or maybe a month from like an ankle or foot. He said, nah, I'm gonna put in your neck. Like you getting KO'd permanently.
Exactly. They knew what they were doing. laid them out. That brought out the whole AEW roster, including Orange Cassidy, who laid there looking so
He
emotional that his boy was down.
just missed it. He was just a second too slow
Second too
coming in.
slow.
Mm-hmm.
Hayes says Cassidy should go to the Mox family. Maybe. But you were saying someone who you thought should take the title off of Mox.
All right, so I'll put on my tinfoil hat for this one. I want you to go back to last week when BCC was destroying everyone
Okay.
in the ring. And then on the ramp, you got the Bucks, you got Perry, and you got Okada. More so the Bucks, really. They're kind of looking on the looks on the faces like shit's getting out of control. Like, yeah, they're the EVPs in a sense, but you had a couple of wrestlers even at talking to Bucks like do something. You guys are in charge, but they had the look on the face like, man, we can't do nothing. Like, it's kind of like in their heads they're like, things are getting too out of control. Like they're not going to be able to handle this. So I feel if there's one route they could take, like it could keep building to a point where a lot more pressure is going to be built on the Bucks and Okada's EVPs in a sense, like, you guys are in charge. Why aren't you doing anything? And then when everyone else is taken out, you know, they're gonna be looking around, like for desperation mode. It's almost like Angel can help them out in that sense.
Right.
A one-winged angel.
Woo!
This will not be this year. This is gonna close out. This will be built for next year. Let BCC go on a 2-3 month just killing spree of everyone on the lower to mid card roster. It's gonna build up that pressure. Like no one else is around. The EVPs are looking around with just like thumbs up their asses. They don't know what to do. They're powerless. They can't stop anything. And not that they'll reach out to Omega, but Omega, with the help of Kota Ibushi, because if you've
Mm.
seen, they have been training together in Japan.
Golden Lovers.
The Golden Lovers, look out for them in 2025
Yeah.
being this. Because who else really? Who would be the best fit to come save AEW from Mox and the Haynes crew? I mean, then then Kenny by God Omega,
Yeah.
the last of the EVP, the one of the founding fathers, like who had his vision for this company, and it's being destroyed right in his face.
Right.
Like it's set up perfectly, in my opinion. If they, like I said, like it looks like Cassidy will be the first challenger, probably a Full Gear for Mox's title.
That's what it's
Of
looking
course,
like.
Cassidy will lose,
Yep.
and then World's End. You could go a number of ways. You could go maybe Darby, World's End. Maybe go Danny Garcia, World's End. But you know, I honestly they'll lose. You want to keep this building till next year, maybe till like the Grand Slam show in Australia or in Revolution, wherever it is.
Yeah.
But man, like it's right there for them. Let Mox and the Haynes crew destroy for a few months, and then boom, they need an angel. They need a savior. That one-winged angel with his golden lover by his side. Come
That doesn't
back.
even sound right, but okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know the
It is what it
history.
is.
It ain't that far-fetched.
Right.
But dude, like, can you just imagine that reaction, that pop, like wherever they are, if it's Omega, the one that comes to save the day?
I 100% agree, man. Shout out
Yeah.
my guy Wicken on TikTok. One of the best supporters you will ever see. He says the Young Bucks couldn't handle that stiffer wrestling back in the day. 100% they couldn't. The Road
Oh no,
Warriors would ragdoll them.
but like I said, like you can make that same argument with like I said with football players today in a sense. Like
Yeah.
think about it, like you hit the quarterback too hard today, man. That's a 15-yard penalty, and you might get a 6-digit fine from Roger Goodell, man. Like
LT would be
so.
suspended for the whole
Oh,
year.
LT would have been kicked out of the league by now,
Yeah.
man. I don't know. It's just different games all
Different day.
around, man.
Different
Exactly.
day. Different day. 100%. But yeah, I'm all for that. And if your assumption was right and Kenny takes it, and then Christian Cage takes it off of Kenny the same night, nuclear
Ooh.
nuclear heat on that guy
Oh,
right there. 100%, man.
Nah. Here's the thing. Let's say if it were Darby or someone like that that beat Mox for the title, then I would have Christian take the belt off of one of them. That would be the nuclear here. But I feel if he were to try an Omega, like I feel there would be some like saving grace, like someone to bail him out or someone that would have his back. But if it's like a Darby, like another day one guy, one of these young guys,
Yeah,
one of the
the
pillars, the
pillars.
one that saves AEW, but then fucking Christian just yanks it out from him like in
Right.
within seconds. Like that's where you get the nuclear. But I feel like if it were flipped, where if it's Omega that would come back and take the belt from Mox, like yeah, Christian would try, but I think it would be a failure though.
Yeah, 100%.
Mm.
On a scale of 1 to 10, though, what are you giving AEW Dynamite tonight?
Uh, like I said, I don't think it was a home run tonight. I mean,
Right.
it was decent, some good parts, some progressing storylines, but a couple other spots it was like, yeah. I'll give it a 6.57 out of 10.
6.5. That's like a D plus. I'm gonna give it a little
No,
bit higher.
no, like that's like a C, like a
I
7 out of
guess you can
10.
see.
Like,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
That
it's a
is like
C.
a C. That's C.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a little higher, probably about a 7.7, something like that. It was
yeah,
a decent show, but some things felt a little rushed. I'm still not understanding this angle with Adam Cole and MJF. I need more explanation from that. But the wrestling is always there, so can't get mad at that with AEW.
like you said, the Adam Cole MJF stuff is the negative for me. The Statlander stuff. We need to how do you say, like, if you're gonna do the quick switch on her from heel to face, like we need more on that. Like you have a few
Yeah,
weeks until Full Gear for the eventual match with her and Mercedes, and like I said, that's gonna be the women's match. That should be your women's match of the year because I'm telling you right now, like Mercedes is gonna she's gonna bump her, she's gonna bump all over that damn ring for a stat, like kind of the way that she did for Willow back in Double or Nothing.
yep,
Yeah, man, that's gonna be it. That's gonna be going. But I mean, here's a positive that I love that AEW's done in the past few weeks. Already next week's card is already filled up.
yeah,
Like so, the lineup for next week, if I'm correct, there's already 4 or 5 matches. So you'll build your talking segments on top of that. But the card's already stacked. They already
back.
so that was one of the things that they had to improve, that Tony had to improve, like as far as advertising and build his cards. Like, don't wait till the Tuesday before. Oh, we got this match. No, 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 no. Now we already know for next Wednesday of what we're getting. We're getting Camille and Statlander. We're getting Swerve and Benjamin. We're getting the tag team championships and a couple other matches off the top of my head. But yeah, like more of that going forward. Build your cards 1-2 weeks in advance. We all know what we're gonna see. It helps sell tickets better. It's the simplest things that make the biggest difference sometimes.
Man, I'm looking forward to seeing Swerve come back next week, man. Him and Benjamin gonna tear the house down.
You think we get Lashley next week?
Oh man, all indications are pointing towards that, but I hope not.
I
I think he can
say
wait a little bit longer.
I say no. Wait for the pay-per-view
Yeah,
because and you also see that MVP keeps handing out cards. So
yeah, let him
maybe,
feel.
like, think about this, like he wants to keep building, he wants to keep adding guys here and there, and then you get that final main character in when everything is like 80%, 90%, we're all complete. Then boom, you bring in that last piece, and then boom, we're ready to go.
Yeah, man. Shout out to everybody who joined us today. Just people like Steeler Boy Lamont, Blurred Cartel, Ron T. L. Soto, C. Marie from the Femcast podcast, Ring Rant, Wiccan, Juan Barlow, and of course, my guy Tony Hayes. He said he had something he wanted to say, but he didn't type it in there in time. We about to get out of here, brother. But Bob, bro, how can people check you out online, man?
Ross, real quick on TikTok, that ball bro, I'm right there. Check out my podcast, group chat wrestling podcast. That's with myself and my bros across the pond in England. New episodes every Tuesday. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any podcast platforms. That's the group chat wrestling podcast. Available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all podcast platforms. Follow me on Twitter, that ball bro. for wrestling, sports related, and whatever. Instagram, Bald Bro, man. It's real simple, man.
Yep.
Bald Bro, any networks, and there you go.
There you go. I'm gonna regret posting this, but Tony, he's been patient all night. He wanted to say this one comment, and here it goes. He says, Stat has the upper chest of Scott Steiner. She has a chest tattoo, no boobs, like real women. You might want to block this. You're right. I should have blocked it.
Oh my
Why
god.
did I allow that from Tony Hayes? But shout out to everybody for joining us, brother. AEW is going to be slamming next week. Can I get you on a comeback next week?
Absolutely, brother. Let's do it.
100%. But until then, it's your boy ABE from DET.
I am that Bald Bro from the Boogie Down Bronx.
And you've been tuned in to the Holy Shhh Podcast, AEW Dynamite post show. See y'all next week.